Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video.
I confide in my sister-in-law about my abusive husband, and she goes to file a report with the police, but they come to the house and arrest me instead. One of the biggest mistakes anyone can make is marrying the wrong person. You want the best for yourself, but end up bringing someone into your life who would ruin it all. This is my case. I had built a good life for myself and was very comfortable. And now I dare say that my choice of a husband was my undoing. We met through a friend, and when we started dating, he was amazing. He checked all my boxes, and I thought I had to marry this one. He was everything I thought I wanted. Turns out all that glitters is not gold, as I always say. He was handsome, had a good job, was romantic, and many other things that right now don't even matter. He always has a bad temper, though, but didn't take it out on me until we were married. The first time he beat me, he was already angry when he came home. I think I said something that upset him, so he slapped me hard. I couldn't believe it, and when he calmed down, he realized his mistake and apologized. I forgave him, but I was terrified that my marriage had taken a different turn from what I expected. I remember thinking about whether that slap was the beginning of more beatings. I promised myself that I wouldn't be that person who stayed in an abusive relationship, but here I am. It kept happening over and over, and each time worse than the last. My husband's personality became more dominant and controlling. It was like he didn't recognize I was the one he loved. He would beat me at the slightest chance and apologize later. I confided in my sister-in-law, who had become my friend, and she was so upset. She promised to put her brother straight. I told her that I wanted to get a divorce, and I was also thinking of reporting to the police. She said that she would support whatever I did because no man has the right to beat a woman, even if it was her brother. She even said that she didn't mind going to the police herself if I had cold feet, and that she would report as a concerned family member. I was surprised to see the police at my house because I didn't know that she had already gone to report to them. I was touched that she would do that for me. When the police asked to confirm who I was, I told them, and they said I had to follow them for more questioning. It was weird how they treated me, and I knew something was up. My sister-in-law told them that I was abusing my husband, and she was concerned for his life. That was why she came to report to them. She said her brother was refusing to come because he felt embarrassed that his wife was abusing him. She basically said everything I said to her to the police and spun the story so it looked like I was the abuser instead of the abused. It's a good thing I had pictures of myself when he beat me, and thank God I didn't mention that to my sister-in-law. If not, she would have found a way to turn that around too. I can't believe that she would do that. I'm honestly shocked. The only other person that I told that my husband beat me was the mutual friend who had introduced us to each other. I remember asking if he knew of any history of abuse with my husband the first time that my husband slapped me. I was curious to know if it would be a regular thing and if I needed to pack my bags immediately. My friend told me that he didn't know of any to the best of his knowledge, and he said it was probably an honest mistake. I didn't tell him that my husband continued beating me, but that's still some evidence. I told the police that I wouldn't say anything until I got a lawyer to represent me. Good thing my dad is in law, so he quickly got someone for me. I wanted my own personal revenge on my sister-in-law, so I told her boyfriend that she was cheating on him, which is accurate, and I have evidence if he needs it. AITA? The case at the police station was easily sorted because I had evidence and my husband had nothing to say. He didn't even agree that I was abusing him, probably because of pride, which I know he has a lot of. Because he disagreed that I abused him, there was no case. I decided not to press charges because he admitted that I wasn't abusing him. However, he didn't expressly say that he was the abuser. I went home to pack my things. My husband was really upset to the point where I knew that if I stayed any longer, he would abuse me again. So I threatened him with the police and packed my things quickly. This time, there was no way I wasn't getting a divorce. My consolation is that we don't have any kids, so it doesn't complicate things, and we have only been married for a little over 2 years. Somehow, it feels like I wasted those 2 years of my life with the wrong person, but I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. My parents were upset with me for not telling them what was happening in my marriage, but they were even sadder at what I had to go through. My dad thinks I should still press charges, but I told him that I'll rather not do that. I just wanted to separate from my husband as soon as possible. Pressing charges would prolong things. Plus, I still loved him, and I didn't want to make it harder than it already was. My sister-in-law called me and insulted me. She even threatened me on the phone. She said I deserved all that her brother did to me. She was angry because I told her boyfriend about her little escapade. He broke up with her, which was the best thing that could have happened to him, in my opinion. My sister-in-law is not one to be faithful to one person, and I know that he loves her so much. Since I met my sister-in-law, she was constantly moving from one relationship to the next, or with two people at once. She wasn't the kind of person to be faithful to one boyfriend. My mom said I shouldn't have interfered in her relationship because that was her business. Instead, I should have tackled my issues with her and the police. My mom doesn't believe in taking justice into your own hands, but my dad, on the other hand, was thrilled. He even said that he wished she was in jail for accusing me falsely. Some weeks have passed, and my sister-in-law and her brother are still harassing me. I don't know how I am the enemy to them and their family. I don't know what lies they cooked up to tell their friends and family, but many of them called me to tell me how horrible I was for what I did, and they hoped I would never find happiness. They all said it in different ways, but that is the summary. Even people I thought would be on my side were surprisingly not, and it concerned me. I needed to find out what they said about me, so I engaged in a conversation with one of the people accusing me of what I knew nothing about. My husband and sister-in-law continued with the narrative that I was abusing my husband. That made me really upset, so I called my lawyer to see what he could do. I'm suing my husband for physical and emotional abuse, and him and his sister for defamation of character. Since they want to fight, I can play the game too, and even better. I had tried to let everything go, but my husband and his sister were stupid enough to keep fueling what they should have let go of. The most amazing part is I have all the cards, and they probably thought the talk about going to court was me bluffing, so they thought they could behave any way they wanted. I'm going to have the last laugh. I am irritated at how low my husband would go to keep his face and his name. I find myself wondering if this was the same person I fell in love with and married. How did I go wrong in one of the most important decisions of my life? I am coming to terms with the fact that people have choices, and it's not my fault if they choose to make the wrong ones. I can only control my own actions. But no matter how hard I try, I can't control the way another person would behave. It's not my fault that my husband became abusive. I'll just have to deal with the situation the best way I can. I won the case, which I believe is not a surprise to you guys. My husband and his sister are to compensate me with a massive sum of money that I do not want to mention, and we got a divorce. I moved back into my parents' house, and it still feels a little weird to be back living with them. I don't plan to stay there for more than 3 months. I need some time to rest and have peace of mind to think of my next step and then start to find an apartment to move into. My parents say that I don't have to find another apartment and I can stay as long as they want, but it feels a little uncomfortable. It's like I'm intruding in their personal space. None of their kids lived with them for years, and I think they may have gotten used to living alone, so just having me come to stay with them for months and months doesn't resonate well with me. That's why, once I get myself together, I'll move out. I am free from my husband and his family. When his family found out the truth, some of them called back to apologize while others didn't bother. But I didn't really care. I just want everything in my past locked away. It's time to move forward and live a happier life, one that I'm satisfied with. NTA, your little revenge on your sister-in-law is nothing compared to what she did to you. Please don't even think about it too much. In fact, see it as a good deed. She probably was looking for a way to move to her next victim of a man anyways, and you helped to break it up.
Next story.
I'm a woman in her 50s, and H is also in his 50s. We've been married for 15 years and each have kids from prior marriages. All adults and local, and no kids together. My H has been having hip issues for 10 plus years, ranging from mild discomfort to extreme pain, where he misses work for weeks at a time. Over the years, he's seen multiple chiropractors and multiple doctors and specialists who have all told him the same thing: lose weight, go to physical therapy, exercise, do stretches, be more mobile, etc. He tries for a while, but when he doesn't get relief as quick as he wants it, he gives up. He wants a hip replacement. However, all of the doctors up to this point tell him that he doesn't need one. My nephew is getting married over 4th of July, and it's a destination wedding, Maui. And since we are on the East Coast, we decided to spend a week and make it a vacation. Not only are we supposed to go, so are my kids, my parents, my siblings, and their kids. This is the first time my whole extended family will be together in years. My H has found a doctor that's willing to do the hip replacement. However, he wants to schedule it 2 weeks before the wedding. He's told me recovery will be 3 to 5 weeks, and that not only is he not going to the wedding, which is fine, but said that I shouldn't go as well. I was not at the doctor's appointment, so I'm only going by what H has told me regarding available surgery dates and recovery times. I asked if he would consider scheduling it after the wedding, and he said no. I suggested that he keep the date. I would be home for the first 2 weeks. I would go to the wedding, just not as long. His kids or a nurse could come and help if needed, and he said I should be home with him. So, AITA for wanting to go to the wedding? I prefer to stay the full week, but willing to do so for 4 days, which included 2 days travel. Just wanted to add some additional information to some of the questions posted. He has arthritis and a pinched nerve, leading to nerve damage and pain. This is why the doctors are recommending weight loss, exercise, strengthening his hip muscles and core. All of that will relieve the pressure on the nerve and lessen the pain. Weight loss, he needs to lose about 30 pounds. Not easy, but certainly doable over time. I have tried to help by cooking healthier meals, trying to keep junk food out of the house, offering to exercise and do stretches together, looking for low-impact ways to exercise, local gym has a pool, etc. There is only so much I can do. I'm his wife, his partner, but ultimately it's up to him to want to make these changes. Why surgery now? Because he found a doctor willing to do it, and he's tired of being in pain. As for why he wants me home, he knows I'll take good care of him. He knows I'll make sure things are easy while he is recovering. He knows I'll take care of everything else, and he won't have to think or worry about anything else. NTA, go and go for a week. Have a plan for someone to help him at home. Also, he must know that hip replacements aren't magic, and it will take the same PT, losing weight, stretches, etc., to get relief even after it. Plus, surgical trauma and scars will make it even more painful to do those things. NTA, he has had years to take care of this and is refusing to accommodate you for a few weeks. Please Google hip replacement recovery times. He should be up and moving around without assistance after 2 weeks. Since he doesn't want you to go, it will probably fall to you to arrange someone to come in and check on him, as he seems like the type to lie there helpless, assuming you'll cancel all your plans to nurse him. Be sure he's aware that you are going to the wedding. Enjoy Hawaii guilt-free.
Next story.
I'm a 36-year-old woman, and my son is 14. He's been acting out a lot lately. I'm trying to give him appropriate consequences, etc., but his father, my ex, undoes everything I try to implement. My ex, 36, doesn't care if our son does anything as long as it doesn't affect his athletic abilities, and it's created a cool dad and evil mom dynamic. Anyways, I had a mini vacation planned for the weekend. I have a family-owned home on this beach town, and my son and stepdaughters love going down there. The thing is, I got a call from a friend saying that her daughter is a mess because of my son. He asked the poor girl out, and when she said yes, he laughed at her and said some really cruel things. I was horrified. I asked him about it, and he rolled his eyes and told me that it was just a joke. When I tried telling him that these jokes hurt, he told me I was being ridiculous and that his dad and stepmom would think it's funny. He then said that he wishes I was as cool as his stepmom. I told him that I'm his mother and that my first priority is his mom not being cool. I then told him that we're no longer going to the beach house. He also has to apologize to the girl, and even if he ever bothers her or any other girl again, then the consequences will be a lot worse. I then proceeded to drive him to the girl's house and made him apologize to the girl in front of her mom. He said he was sorry, and I also said it. I bought her a necklace and took the money for that from my son's allowance as well. The girl was a lot happier, and her mom said that she appreciated the apology. While driving back home, my son started yelling at me and said that was the most embarrassing thing he'd ever had to do. I told him to imagine how the girl felt when he did that to her in front of everyone. He just said that whatever and was like, "Can we go to the beach now?" I said, "No, we can't and we won't." He started yelling again and said that I was doing too much over a joke and that if the girl accepted the apology, then why am I making things so difficult for him? He also said that since I embarrassed him, this was the least I could do. He later called my ex, who told me that I was a major AH for being so harsh and that he more or less repeated what my son said. I don't think I'm the AH in the slightest, but I see how I'm being harsh. Just wanted some perspective because my ex and his wife and my son are begging me to reconsider and relax. AITA? NTA, way to be an awesome parent and hold your child accountable. I can definitely see why you split from the ex. Like, in what world is it a joke to screw with another person's emotions like that? I would have done the same thing if I had kids. NTA, but your ex and his new wifey are a-holes. You need some family intervention, counseling, and your son's father and stepmom need an attitude adjustment. If they don't change, then you should change the custody agreement and they get limited access. I know your son is a teen and will rebel, but if you don't get this fixed now, he's going to be an even bigger nightmare in a year or two.